Hello and welcome to Dear Franny. I'm your host, Francesca Hogi. So, this is the first episode that I'm recording in 2025. So, Happy New Year. We are off to an interesting slash rocky start. I want to definitely send all of my love to everyone who is in LA. Many of you know that LA is my second home city. I moved to LA in 2024, and for the last 20 years, I have lived there more than anywhere else. And, just New York and LA, not like tons of places, but still. LA is a place that, I feel like I really grew up there. I moved there, as a young adult. I only knew a couple of people. It was the first time I was really out of my comfort zone and had to go out and make friends. And it's really the place where I learned how to have fun dating and fun flirting. And it's a place where I started blogging about dating back in 2008. And I have so many friends and so many memories from so many different phases of my life in LA and watching the devastation. Even though I'm in New York and I'm safe, excuse me, I'm safe from all the fires. My heart is breaking for the city, for so many people who've lost their homes, lost their livelihoods, who are living with such uncertainty. It's a traumatic event. So I want to just make sure that if you are in LA, just know that we are all pulling for you. We are praying for you. We are donating to causes. We are rooting for you to come back stronger and to rebuild the city and just to be okay and to find peace. And I just hope that you are being kind towards yourself. The real silver lining of this whole situation has been seeing how much the community is stepping up to support each other. And that is a beautiful thing. And I think that's something that people don't realize about LA is how much you actually, like, we do look out for each other in LA. Even though I'm not there, I still say we. So that's been a really beautiful silver lining, but that doesn't erase the real trauma of what everyone in LA is going through right now, whether you've lost a home or a loved one directly or not. You know somebody who has, and you know what it is to live in the midst of a crisis. So sending lots of love to LA. Anyway, I want to just do a really brief episode today. I also want to thank everyone who has taken the time to pre-order my book, How to Find True Love, Unlock Your Romantic Flow, and Create Lasting Relationships. I'm so grateful. It's Wednesday, January 15th, and on Friday, January 10th, was the day that I officially announced the book, revealed the cover on social media. And I've just been my heart has just been so warmed by the response. I was shocked the other night. I went and clicked on the Amazon listing, and I saw that the listing had a little tag on it that said bestseller. And I was like, what? But thanks to those of you who have ordered the book right away, I appreciate you so much. Pre-orders are really important. So the fact that enough people have pre-ordered the book for it to be number one new release in mate-seeking books. It's like number 6 in dating. It's also on the charts of love and relationship books overall. Like, it's just really, really, really gratifying. So I thank you so much for your support. And if you're not following me on social, please make sure that you are at Dear Franny. I'm going to be sharing more about the book over the coming months until it's released in April 8th to be exact. And if you haven't already gotten your copy, I encourage you to do so. And that also includes, by the way, pre-ordering it at your local library. So even if you don't want to buy the book or you don't buy books, maybe you only borrow books from the library, which I totally respect and love. I love libraries. You can still put in a pre-order for a book at a library. So I encourage you to do that. If not, you can go to my website. You can go anywhere you get your books, bookshop.org, Barnes& and Noble, obviously Amazon, as I mentioned. And yeah, and you can also check out my new website, which is francescahogi.com. I designed it myself. That was my little New Year's project, literally started on New Year's Eve. And there's also more information about the book there and me. So if you're curious, check it out, francescahogi.com. Um, but, as we are at the start of the year, I know that for many people, finding and prioritizing romantic love is always a top resolution, intention, goal for the year. And I just wanted to, give you a little bit of advice about this, especially if you are in the position of feeling like you're maybe confused about why things aren't moving in your dating journey the way that you want them to. So there's always the things that we kind of know that we could be doing better, but then there's also like, well, I actually don't know. I feel like I've done this and I've done that. Maybe I could do this, but is that what's going on? And something that's just been on my heart to share is to encourage you to really let 2025 be the year where you are even more intentional about being introspective and really looking at not just what are the new things that you can do to go out and meet people and to date. Like those things are great. New things are great, but also to look at what's going on in your life right now that is actually presenting itself as an obstacle, right? So in other words, what do you need to actually stop doing? And when it comes to that, and it comes to life in general and moving forward towards any goal, but especially romantic love, this can be really sneaky because it's like, well, what do I have to stop doing? I don't know. And maybe what you need to stop doing or change how you're doing is how you're talking to yourself, right? What the narrative is you even have about love and what it means that you haven't yet found that partnership that you're seeking. How much judgment do you have there versus curiosity versus compassion? How much humility do you have? Meaning, are you willing to step into the fact of like, okay, maybe I don't understand everything that's going on here with me in this area of my life. So how can I bring some more curiosity? I would encourage you to look at things that might seem unrelated to your love journey, such as where are you spending your time? Where are you spending your money? Where are you overdoing? Where are you taking on too much and you're staying too busy? Things that are really sneaky, like, having a shopping addiction, things like always being on your phone, always having to have the TV on or music, and you're always, needing to kind of fill the quiet, right? I understand that, but I also would encourage you to think about, what might I be avoiding by being so distracted with all of this outside stimulation? And can I put the phone down a little bit more often? Can I be in more silence and be with myself and with my thoughts and my emotions and see what's coming up for me a little bit more often? Can I be a little bit more intentional before I order another thing or, spend money on this or spend money on that, and just take a moment of like, wait, is this just kind of like a, compulsive self-soothing thing that, shopping can be? And by the way, as somebody who used to have a shopping addiction, or maybe I shouldn't say addiction, as somebody who used to have a compulsive shopping habit, let's say, put it that way, where I just, to me, shopping was entertainment. And I used to be the kind of person who would have all sorts of clothes in my closet that I never wore, that still had tags on them, that I would forget about. I would go out and I would buy something and I would come home and I'd be like, oh, no wonder I like this. I already have something else that's exactly like this that I don't wear. So I used to be very mindless, right? The opposite of mindful. I used to be on autopilot with my spending. And things like that might seem so disconnected. You're like, well, what does that have to do with romantic love? And I think that, first of all, if you can relate to having any of these behaviors that are a little bit more compulsive, and when you start to bring a little bit more awareness to like, well, what's going on in my life that's causing me to do that? What feelings am I avoiding? You will actually start to see more of how it's all connected. Our lives are much more holistic than we think. Romantic love is not in this little special silo that's untouched by all of the other parts of our lives. And so, what I would really encourage you to do, and I'm not a resolutions person, but I am an intentions person, right? And so, I really believe in taking the time to think about what is my intention for the year, what is my theme for the year. Those of you who are part of my True Love Society community on Patreon, and by the way, you can go to patreon.com/Dear Franny, or you can go to truelovesociety.com and it'll forward to it as well, and join our community there. But we did a workshop in December that was about intention setting for the new year. So I do encourage you to check that out if you weren't able to attend that with us. But the recording is there. But just even if you don't do that, just to think about how can you be more intentional about just setting yourself up to thrive in your life, right? How can you bring more intention to the choices that you're making in terms of what you're spending your time on, your money on, your energy on, what you're putting into your body? How can you just bring a level of intention that is about, I want to set myself up to thrive. I want to set myself up to feel as connected to myself as I can, as grounded within myself as I can in 2025. And then you add on top of that the intention for a romantic partnership, the intention to let love in, the intention to be more loving and to allow yourself to receive more love. And I think you'll be really surprised by the sorts of things that start to shift. And so when I say humility, what I mean is if you knew all the answers, if you knew exactly what you needed to do, if there was like 3 simple steps for you to have this great partnership that you're feeling called to have, then you would have done it, right? And so it's time to start to bring some curiosity to what are some of the things that you maybe even like, oh yeah, I maybe shouldn't do that anymore. Or maybe that's something that I want to change. But anyway, I'm not going to focus on that. No, actually, I do want you to start to give some attention to some things that seem disconnected and seem unrelated. So as I said at the beginning here, it's very easy to say, okay, I'm going to get on a dating app. I'm going to start going out more. I'm going to start doing these things. And that's amazing. And I'm not discouraging you from taking those steps that you're feeling called to do to be more proactive about dating and making those connections. But do not skip over the step of, well, what am I doing already? Right? Where am I overdoing? Where am I overgiving? Where am I distracting myself? How am I numbing myself? How am I not choosing myself and I'm not prioritizing my own well-being? I really want you to take the time to look at those places, bring your attention with self-compassionate curiosity. If you listen to this podcast, if you know me, you know I'm always beating this drum of self-compassionate curiosity because it's so important. If you want to get productive answers and you want to move forward, then you've got to be compassionate towards yourself as you are making these inquiries. Because if you're doing it from a place of shaming and judging and what's wrong with me and why do I do this and I can't stop doing this and all of that, then all you're going to do is stay stuck. Okay? So you deserve compassion. Developing a more compassionate and kind relationship with yourself is foundational in having a better relationship with yourself, which is foundational in making it easier for you to form better relationships with other people. So again, take a look at those things that you're kind of like, maybe I suspect this is a little out of balance in my life, but you're putting up with it. And this could also be relationships that you have in your life, and romantic or otherwise, where it feels out of whack. It feels like you're the one who's putting in all the effort. You're the one who's giving, and maybe other people are taking from you. Other people are taking advantage of you, or they're taking advantage of your kindness. Like, think about those things and start to just see what would happen. How would I actually start to operate differently, and different things start showing up in my life when I'm able to cut out some of these things that are actually interrupting my flow, that are actually interrupting my peace, that are actually impeding my ability to truly thrive in my life where I am today. And I think if you commit yourself to that inquiry, you will be pleasantly surprised. And I'm not saying it's always easy. changing habits. If it was easy, that everybody would just change any habit. We were like, oh, I'll just change that on a dime, right? So going back to the self-kindness, the self-compassion, but do take a look at it. And that's my encouragement for you in 2025. We are in a very challenging moment in so many ways in this world, collectively, and our dating culture and our relationship culture. Things are shifting very rapidly. I mean, I marvel at how much dating culture has changed over the last 12 years since I first became a matchmaker. It's like it's quite actually astounding to see how quickly things have changed and evolved. And I think that we kind of hit maybe a bit of a rock bottom in the dating culture in 2024. And believe it or not, I do think that things are going to get better this year. I do think things are going to get better going forward because we have reached the end of the superficial, say these 5 things to get somebody to choose you, being in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship, being more concerned about what your relationship looks like on the outside than what it feels like on the inside. We have hit the wall of that. Treating people like items in a catalog and just swiping into the void and looking for something to be wrong with somebody and focusing on the negative and focusing on the fear and the unpleasant things that happen. I think that we've seen the limit of that. And what I am hoping for, praying for, the reason I wrote this book is because I really want to help people have the tools to be more empowered in their approach to relationships. So I think the good news of how challenging dating has been in the last few years is that everyone is ready to do it differently. And I talk to people of all different genders, sexual orientations, all different parts of their lives, ages, and everyone is really expressing the same level of frustration. And that is actually a good thing because that is why I know that change is going to happen. And I see that the world is changing so rapidly. Collectively, our consciousness, our values, what we're focused on is changing really rapidly. And so there is an opportunity to have the best relationship of your life, the one that feels the most authentic, the one where you feel the most connected, where you feel the most seen for who you are. That's not about tactics, that's not about games, but that's genuinely about 2 people who are just ready to let themselves be loved and to love and be seen. I feel that that is coming for more and more and more people. And that's why I want to encourage you to really kind of think about clearing the decks, right, in your life right now. How do you clear the decks? How do you make the space for that? Where is the static? Where is the noise? Where is the distraction? How can you start to clean that up and prepare yourself to let more in? Because more is coming. I really believe it. And that is my hope for you, my prayer for you, my intention for you. And I hope that you feel it too. So I want to thank you so much for rocking with me, for listening to this episode, for pre-ordering my book, for joining the True Love Society, subscribing to the podcast, all the ways in which you, my community, support me. I appreciate so very much. I love you. Again, I want to send extra love to everybody in LA, but everyone everywhere. Thank God there was a ceasefire announced in Gaza today. So that's another thing that we can be grateful for, that a little less suffering is going to happen in the world tomorrow than today and yesterday. So yeah, thank you so much. I'll be back next week with another episode. If you haven't checked out the last few episodes, I've had some really great conversations with the Astro Twins, who have a new book out, and also some coaching sessions that have been really wonderful for me to do. If you are interested in being coached by me on a future episode, check out the show notes. There's a little form that you can fill out and apply to be coached on the show. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Okay, bye-bye.